So if we're going to skip ahead to June Kinney, this is actually a separate one. She is the one that asked for the waiver, but this happens to be something that she is bidding on that is an event with a deadline. So she came in and turned her paperwork in this morning and did ask about the waiver.
Maybe that's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, it just happened this morning. And she didn't have this part filled out either, and I kept thinking, why does everybody keep skipping this? And she said it's because you stop right here and it says municipal staff use only. And so I need to fix this form because nobody's doing this part because they think they stop there. So I
I
said,
give them credit for reading the form.
yeah, I said, well, I'm going before, we have the Board of Ethics meeting today and perhaps that they can,
But this is what I, as an ethics officer, would be asking them, so she wouldn't be filling this out.
oh, but no, but they're
she's
not
getting
taking
them.
it.
Okay,
So
okay.
I need to put something like, take this to
And does
your.
this, does the school have their own ethics officer? I don't know, do they?
Yes, they do. And I did ask her for the next one to please go ahead to the
Okay.
ASD ethics officer and have this filled out. So, but I figured since we're meeting, can we take care of this section
Mhm.
on this one as well?
Sure.
Okay.
Now, is this one asking for a year-long like the previous one?
No, this is for one event with this deadline.
Okay. Do we, I suppose it's not important to know what the event is. We just, this is solicitation 2014-612. I'm assuming they-
So maybe this is one outside of the smaller ones, because it's still that her husband, is she bidding on it or her husband is bidding on it? Her husband, I mean, that business is doing it. And so this may fall outside the parameters of the smaller waiver ones. Well, it does. This is a bid or a response to request for professional services. So this is one of the big ones. Remember, we said the waiver applied to the little ones, but this is one of the big ones. So now she is following the rules.
I see, because it's greater than a certain
the
amount of
larger,
money,
yeah.
the 24.9 or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
so
What's the-
24.999.
It is 24.9. So this is a larger solicitation, and we're simply being asked whether this is okay in the same way the smaller ones are too. So I see, that makes sense. Okay.
I guess what I was looking,
Well, I think go ahead.
I guess what I'm looking for is, she doesn't see it as a conflict, so that's reasonable. We don't have any discussion whether there's any management of potential conflict.
Right, I mean, we didn't find that there was a conflict in all the smaller ones, right? So.
But, it's interesting with this form, we don't know what they're bidding on. We have no idea what they're doing.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah,
This
right,
is.
because of this form, it doesn't say, and I think that's where you're hoping your ethics officer, just like the one we're gonna discuss next, knows something about the situation. And so you're relying on, but how can we review this? It doesn't say what it is.
I
I
don't
don't know what the bid's about.
What they're
Yeah.
seeking.
Why is there a conflict of interest if you don't know what it is? How can we determine if there's a
That's-
conflict
Can
if
I
we
make
don't
a
know what it is?
suggestion? Is
Yeah.
just out of timeliness, because
Yeah.
she has to post this 7 days before the bid, probably the bid's
Sure.
gonna be, or whatever is very short. If we were to delegate, the board to delegate this to Linda over there, to call her up and find out a little bit about more what's going on. And then also, does the board wanna say, hey, we need your ethics officer for the school, who is that? Or do we know who that is? Can we find that out, Lisa?
I'll find it out.
And that person also needs to sign off on it.
Who is Lisa Huffman? Is she a
That's her
principal or-
supervisor.
I'm
It
assuming
says-
that's the principal.
It says is
Oh,
it the
maybe.
principal in San
I mean, in general, I don't know that either of us have any
I don't
issue
think I have a
with it, but
problem
there's
with
just
it.
not enough
Just-
information to,
Yeah.
or do you got more information there?
Do we need a form fix?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think this doesn't, how can we review any of these? What we're doing is entirely relying on the supervisor.
Because
without
if I
understanding.
was filling this form out, I wouldn't
Okay,
delegate that out.
so the amount,
No, I agree.
the project
The
grant
rest
was
is-
for $102,000, that's on this form here.
Mhm.
So that,
Oh.
so we can
Oh.
tell, it's a notice of intent, they paid the $15,
I
and
see.
the grants for, I'm assuming of the description is 102, is that the amount? of the
No,
grant?
that's not, that's just our department with 2 zeros out, that's a funding code.
That's not
Okay, well,
102,000.
yeah, it looks like 102,000 to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Just somewhere to follow up and make sure, I don't have a problem.
Well, I don't have a problem with delegating it.
Especially if Linda were to take care of it.
Do you mind on that? So, you want me to call Ms. Huffman first or Ms. Kinney?
You know, that's
Well,
actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it'd be interesting to talk to Lisa Huffman.
Right.
And just something I can tell you that, because I sign off on some of these forms, is the supervisors are really pressured, feel very pressured by their employees to sign these things.
Right, I was gonna say,
Oh,
Lisa.
they're not very far removed a lot of times, and
Mhm.
so it does need our review. So it might be interesting to talk to either or both.
And we don't know how much Lisa actually knows about the project, and I would call Gina McKinney to find out,
Okay.
but I agree, I would
I'll call
also.
them both.
Call them both,
Well,
and just
yeah.
find out.
Do we have a way for her to call them? Well, they'll be in the,
There's a phone number
they'll
right
be
on
in
this
the municipal
form.
directory too.
Right. Ms. Kinney's got a phone number of 243-21616.
It's at school, so it's probably the same.
And I'll look up Ms. Huffman
Yeah.
on,
Well, my guess is it's keep the same phone number, because that's the school, unless she has a separate phone number.
Well,
in her
I mean, with a little work, you can get to the ASD portal, employee portal anyway, so.
So here it is, the solicitations provide services, professional engineering services,
Their spouses.
and there just isn't enough, so basically the form change would be a better description.
Yes, to
Okay.
add a description,
Or describe,
the,
project, or maybe describe.
And then on
yeah,
the
that's
next
a better
page,
word,
for municipal staff use only.
Well, and it's like, no potential for conflict exists.
Mhm.
It always, there's a
There's
potential.
always, yeah.
So there's the two attorneys, wait a minute.
Mhm.
okay.
Um,
So that doesn't even make sense.
I say either no conflict exists, but I take out potential, or it has been managed.
Okay, I have another brilliant suggestion to the board, that we also delegate this to Linda for drafting, and to have her bring it back to us. Is that possible?
to change the form?
It's a
Yeah,
brand new
and
form
see
this
what
year.
we're trying is, yeah, well, that's okay, but what we're trying to accomplish. And you can grab me for 20 minutes to sit down with you and
Okay,
explain this.
and have the suggested changes by the April meeting?
Yes.
Oh, that's easy. Easy kind of.
And then if you have the suggested changes, then I can put it into the
Perfect.
document? Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
basically changes on page 2 so that people know.
Mhm.
And,
Full
and
stop.
part of the
No,
reason for this
I'd
delegation.
stop.
I would too.
Part of the reason for the delegation is let attorneys draft, but we
Yeah.
need your reasonable person standards.
Do we need to give
I mean,
Linda the authority to approve once, provided that they do the appropriate answers?
You know, that's gonna be very quick because I think there's very real deadlines right now.
I understand, that's the reason I'm asking.
Well, we can delegate the authority to her.
That's what, do we have to do that? Should we do that?
Yes, I think so.
If we make a formal motion.
I move.
Second.
Okay.
And what do we, that's a formal delegation of this particular?
Yeah.
Yes.
For me to approve or disapprove the
Yeah.
McKinney
Yes.
solicitation 2014-612.
Yes, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, what she said.
So
And
can
the
I-
deadline is 25 March, but they have to have it done 7 days early.
So basically the deadline
So-
is tomorrow, this
Wow.
week.
Well, it's gonna be, you're gonna publish it on the website.
Well, I was gonna ask you, can I go ahead and publish it as is, and then when I get her second page
Mhm.
with the sign off, I will substitute in the second page?
Right, because that gives public notice
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So it's been moved and seconded to have Linda Richardson, give her the authority on this one, and yes.
Can I ask one more question? Can we put on the website pending review by ethics board?
Yes.
Okay, that
Perfect.
would solve that problem.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of that yesterday when you asked me the same question.
Okay. Now, did you have something to, some background on this?
Sure,
On the
and-
sidewalk right here?
Good
Yeah.
motion. Okay.
Yeah, did we finish the last one?
Yes, we did. Didn't hear an objection.
You know, I don't mind saying this in front of him so he can correct me. So do you mind pulling him down?
I
Sure,
forgot.
'cause I want to make sure,
Before-
'cause if this one is convoluted, and then
It's
reading that
not
other thing.
convoluted, but you know, it's like could the Olive Garden give all the firefighters lunch?
Mhm.
I was like, ooh, I don't know. This requires reasonable people interpretation of this one. So it's I think it's an appearance of impropriety issue. Well, let me tell you what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, just.
Here's what's going on is he's in purchasing. And he's sort of management level, he's not the top, but he handles quite a bit. He has traditionally
Hi, Dave.
handled-
This is Lisa Slusner calling from the Municipal Clerk's Office. The Board of Ethics is meeting currently, and we are currently discussing your notice of intent to respond to a public solicitation. We are in the Ombudsman Suite in the library, Assembly Library. And if you're
160.
available, it's room 160. Could you come down? Thank you.
And he knows we were meeting today, so, anyway, he has traditionally handled what's called the sidewalk vendor program. We have like 8 of the hot dog places that are run by the municipality. And every year they have to bid on those sites.
Okay, they're not by lot anymore, they are by bid, by money, actual money.
Yes,
bid.
they're not by what?
Lot.
No.
Lottery?
Oh, no. Okay,
Okay,
they're not a
they used to
lottery.
be, I originally they were by lottery.
And so we have 8 sites now. There's other sites that aren't us, like the hot dog guy in front of the federal building.
Right,
yeah.
That's a federal lease issue. But here's 8 sites. And these people can make a tremendous amount of money.
I know.
And at any rate, he's traditionally handled that program. This year, his wife wants to put a bid in.
I see.
And so he's gonna step out of it entirely.
Step out of what the whole.
The whole administration. He can, they have enough people in purchasing that he doesn't need to have any involvement. Now, it is, and he'll make this argument for you too, it is by competitive bid. In other words, the purchasing has no discretion. Whoever bids in the highest amount gets the bid.
Really?
So they bid to the city to use that space as sidewalk.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
I wonder how much what the prices are.
They're, 4,000 or 5,000 bucks.
Yeah, the highest ones I think are 8 or 9, and it
Yeah.
depends on the
location.
Yeah. Now, so there's that issue that he has run this program forever, and now his wife is going to put a bid in. One of my other concerns in this whole thing is, so we have to look at, conflict of interest. If he removes himself, is that resolved? Not appearance, inside knowledge, insider knowledge.
Because he-
Yeah,
because
that's
he-
what I was thinking, insider
That's exactly what I'm
information.
thinking. He knows what a good bid is.
Yeah.
Well, and what his answer will be, all the same people bid on these every year. It's
Yeah.
controlled by a few families.
Yeah, I know.
And they know everything, and that he has no superior knowledge. But let him say that to you. And the third one is appearance of impropriety.
Right.
In our code, it says that appearance of impropriety by itself is not enough. I think there's a reasonable person standard here that's why I want you to weigh in on this. Because the facts aren't much more convoluted than that. And to ask him questions. The other thing, which perhaps shouldn't weigh in on this, but is a concern to me as an attorney, which is another reason I didn't want to sign this, was because we're doing a new procedure this year, which is likely to raise objections. So this issue could come up in litigation, and one of them is very litigious.
One of the families,
Yeah.
or one of the.
Yeah. Although we think that with this new.
Can you tell us how it's changed? the
Well,
process?
I don't have a whole lot of understanding. By the way, that's why he wrote this, and he
Yeah.
started telling me. I said, "Oh goodness, put it in writing."
It's just something added.
It's a change in, they're gonna do one bid at a time, and if you get selected,
Then they pull you out of
then
the
you're out of
next.
the other ones.
I see.
And there was some way for families to sort of shuffle. One person would win, but then
Right.
another person had a lower one, and so then this person would withdraw their bid. And
Right.
there was a lot of, it's very clear that people could get together
Or
and figure out
manipulate.
how to do this. So they actually are trying to figure out a new system that would prevent that. I think the new system has nothing to do with the wife. I mean, it won't
Yeah.
enhance her ability or not enhance her ability, but it is a fact that the new system is being implemented starting next week.
I would
So,
love to know how much those sandwiches make. I know they do very well. Now, these are
Yeah.
hot dogs, these are food vendors, not the.
no, some of them
clothing.
can be different.
Okay.
Some are t-shirts.
And
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
designated, because one of the issues, some of the past litigation we've been involved in, has been, that the city, it is not fair to put two hot dog
Right.
people next to each other. So now
Right.
you'll see hot dog,
Right.
some other food product or clothing,
Right.
and they're designated for what, okay, this is a hot dog place, or
Interesting.
a hot dog in any other food place, or this is not hot dog, but any other food place.
Because I know they do very well, and like the Saturday market vendors, they do exceptionally well. At least they did a few years ago, because I knew.
No, it's pretty, I can't remember, it was in the hundreds of thousands.
It is. I mean, I know M&A. He just goes to Costa Rica all winter or something. You know, a lot of the time.
Yeah. Now, some of the lesser sites
Yeah.
don't make as good money, and they
Right.
only cost $700 or $800.
Right.
Here's-
There's one in front of the Planet Walk. Is that city also?
You know, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because that's not going to be it.
Here's one, $23,000.
He gave us a little
Oh.
map of which are ours.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, so there's a. That's how much the lease
bid
amount
is.
was.
Yeah.
The bid was.
Yeah. No. One closer.
So,
One more.
place number 5 is our hot place, place number
Place number 5 is $23,000 they paid for the bid.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, see, the thing that I'm aware of with this, there's, like Dee says, there's a lot of these people are all connected.
Wait a minute, you said 23,000?
Yeah, I don't see where 23,000.
No, 23,000.
Oh, that's a summary, I think, of how much.
Vendor 6, sidewalk.
Site
vendor
number
permit.
5,
Oh,
vendor
down here
number
under,
6.
yeah, vendor 6, site 5, yeah,
I
$22,900.
must be looking at it.
Yeah, it's
And
not-
site
Oh,
5,
here we
vendor 9 offered 18, and vendor 10 offered 21.
And of course, that's probably the number one site.
But,
And vendor 3 offered 20.
but I know Martin McGinnis. And, there's gonna be a complaint filed if somebody from purchasing wins a bid over them.
Which is why, I mean, I read
So
his
we
note
gotta
on how
make sure
he's,
that
how
we
he's,
can defend
how he's
ourselves.
entitled, you know, he's staying out of the bid package preparation.
Straight representation.
Well, we have to
Oh,
be
right
able to
out
defend
front
ourselves
there.
because
Yeah,
we're,
yeah.
you know, knowing that bunch of people.
I just call it a different purchase number.
Yeah. You know,
Interesting. Those
and
two
if you're,
sites on
if
either
you're a
side of
little
M&A.
hesitant at whether we can defend this, then
Well, no, I'm not necessarily, it's just that how has he managed the potential conflict? He is stepping out of the system.
yeah, but when you're, so who's gonna do it? A subordinate of his?
Actually, the way I read it was, well, the senior buyer in the purchasing department, I don't know if that is a, he
See,
has,
that's what I mean.
I don't know if he's, I don't know what the situation is
We need that information.
Oh, I see, I see. Because we could be hauled in front of court on this one.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, could we possibly go off the record for 5 minutes? Let me go
Sure,
over
yeah.
purchasing and grab.
Just
them.
grab them.
Yeah.